Hello, Lana McAra here, and I help people feel younger. Welcome to Now It's My Turn, where the 50-plus woman awakens her spark and enjoys her life. We're here every Friday on YouTube, and today we have a very special guest talking about your story and how your story is important. It's really going to be a very exciting episode today. So we're coming to you from the greater Philadelphia area. I am coming to you from the greater Philadelphia area. And I am so excited to have you today because it's very practical material that we're going to be talking about, actionable, practical stuff that you can use because our stories are super duper important. They shape everything for us and how we relate to the world. Our purpose each week on the program is to open the door for the 50-plus woman to live a life she absolutely loves. Today's 50-plus woman is vibrant, alive, filled with passion, purpose, and she's a powerful force for good in the world. And we are here to unleash that power by breaking through social programming and saying our best years are still ahead. We're not half done. We're just getting started. Women over 50 have so much to offer from our experience and our heart and our passion, so much to give. And so that's why we're here, to give you those tools where each woman can say, now it's my turn. Now it's my turn to create my life according to my desires and expectations, according to my purpose and my passion. Because I find a lot of times women, we just push ourselves to the side and we abdicate our own desires, our own passion and purpose in favor of what everybody else wants and needs. Well, now it's our turn to think about these two questions. First of all, who am I? Who am I in here? Who am I in this space in my life? Now that my children are grown or pretty much grown, now that I'm coming to that place in my career where I can retire or not, or figure out what I want to do next, who am I really? And the second question, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want my life to look like? What do I want my contribution to be? And those two questions are what we bring forward every single week. And these guests that we bring in are to help us with tools and insights that we can use to answer those two questions in a more very practical, dynamic way. So as we always do, let's go ahead and get started with our meditation. I call this the heart space meditation. And it is something that we do every single week. And I have actually had people say that they tune in just for the heart space meditation. So let's just settle in. Get quiet in your seat. Just feel like you're sinking into the chair or the sofa, the bed, wherever you may be. And just get grounded in this space. Take a nice deep breath and feel your body relax. Breathing in calm. Breathing out stress. Breathing in quietness. Breathing out all the agitation and just getting into this very good, deep, quiet space. And now let's just focus on your heart. Focus on your heart space and just feel your heart swell. Feel your heart fill with love. Just let the love in your heart grow and expand and just let it fill your entire chest. Just fill yourself up with love. It feels so good. We have so much love to give. And it's good for us to feel it and experience it. Fill yourself up with love. It feels warm and soft. And then just let it swell and fill your entire body from the top of your head down to the bottoms of your feet. Just let yourself fill with love. All the way to the ends of your fingers. And as you do this, you just feel more energy. You feel more balanced. Good place to be. And then let your love just come out and fill the room. Just from ceiling to floor, wall to wall. Just let the love in your heart just come right out. And I see my love coming out almost like a color, like a beautiful blue. And when I think about that color, it just makes me feel happy. And then just let your love swell and fill the entire building from the roof to the basement, all the way out to the outer walls. Just fill up the apartment building, the house, the hotel, wherever you may be. Fill the entire building with love. And now let your heart space just spread, just out over the entire region, the city, the area where you are. Just out, just covering up all of the surrounding area with love. The housing developments, the schools, the medical facilities, the education buildings. Just spread love. You know, a lot of times when we do these exercises, we use imagination games and pretend games, but this is not pretend. The Heart Math Institute has measured our love energy with instruments, and they tell us it's like a wave going out. They can see it with the instruments. And when people join together and spread love over an area, crime rate goes down. Immune systems are stronger. This is doing some real good in the world, and I can feel it. Can't you? You can feel it too, can't you? And then let your heart space, this loving, beautiful energy, just float out and spread all the way across the continent, from one ocean to the other, spreading out North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, wherever you are. From sea to sea, just fill the entire area with love. So powerful. And when we do this, your heart space crosses over mine. And when that happens, we start to form this grid, this loving grid. And in our connection, my love connects to your love, and it lights up. And we're better together than we are alone. And we are sharing the healing, where the healing for one becomes the healing for all. And it doesn't matter if you're listening to the recording or if you're listening live, because we're all in the now. You could be listening 2 or 3 months, a year from the time that this was loaded, and you're still joining us. That's right. And now let your loving heart just go from all the way around the globe and all the way back, just covering the earth with a beautiful, beautiful blanket of love. We need it right now, don't we? I need it. You need it. The world needs it. Breathe it in and anchor that. Feels really, really good. Okay, let's get our guest in here. Let's see if I can handle the technology today. Lynn.
Yay.
Welcome. Welcome.
Hi, Lana.
Hi. So wonderful to have you today.
It's wonderful to be here. I'm honored to be your guest, and I love that meditation.
Oh, it fills my heart so much every time. Doesn't get old.
Right.
That was a download. I didn't make that up. That was really received. Yes.
We need that.
Yes, we do. Lynn Sanders is the founder and president of Different Makers Media, a story expert on a mission to inspire over 1 million lives through the power of positive stories. Lynn helps entrepreneurs and nonprofit leaders craft, tell, and share their stories to build their impact in the world. Lynn uses her own story of overcoming personal self-worth challenges and bullies to demonstrate the importance of having faith, belief, and perseverance in your dreams. For more information, you can go to differencemakersmedia.com, and that is in the description box below. Welcome, Lynn.
Thank you. It's great being here.
Well, let's just dive right in, because it always seems like we are so short on time. Why is your personal story so important? Why is it?
So I want everyone to realize that you get to actually choose the outcomes of your story. Your story is really your interpretation of what's happened to you in your life. And so you can look at something in a positive way or negative way. It really depends on your choice and seeing the lessons you learned. So your story is important because we live our lives by how we perceive things to be. And your story really is a way of communicating your authenticity, who you are, to audiences. And by doing that, by being so open, which you're going to hear about today, you build trust with audiences. And when you build trust, then people feel they can connect with you at a deeper level, and they want to get to know you better. And ultimately, if you're a business person, they'll want to do more business with you because they can tell that you're someone who really tells it like it is and someone who really cares.
Well, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, because I know that every time we get on stage, every time we appear, people who have never seen us before, they're always curious, who is this person? Where did they come from? What's their background? Yeah.
Well, and I think also people really need to pay attention to the story they tell themselves about themselves. It's not just what happens to you in the outer world. How do you interpret those events? You know, what good can you make out of them? It's the idea of making lemonade out of lemons. We all have challenges. We all do. So the point is, what are we learning from our stories? That message that we're giving to others in the world. And then from that message, we can choose to empower, inspire, or transform lives. And that's what I'm all about, is really helping you, anyone listening here who's connected at a higher level, as Lana has set us up today, to feel deeply connecting at the spiritual level, that we all make a difference. We don't have to be a celebrity or a famous person. We make a difference just by smiling at someone and sending them that positive energy, which I know you all could feel from Lana's opening.
Yes. Yes, very good. Excellent. I remember a time when I used to speak a lot when I was in the publishing, actively publishing books every year, which has been a little while in the past. But I was telling my story at an event as a speaker, and this 90-something-year-old woman came up to me afterwards, and it just made such an impact on my memory. I'll never forget her. She looked me in the eyes, and I couldn't even believe that she was there at that point in her life. And she said, I always thought that I had a hard life. And today you helped me. You helped me be grateful for what I had, even though, yes, it was hard. But now I see that I do have something to be grateful for. And wow, that was just amazing, because to me, I grew up as a little Mennonite girl, abused and forgotten and neglected. Nobody, just nobody in a farming community. But our stories do.
Right, it connected you with her. Just like the other day, I was at a doctor's office, and the nurse had a badge that had her name, and it was a Russian-sounding name. We just started talking, and she said, I'm having such a good time, it's hard for me to leave the room. And it's just a little example that you can make a difference when you relate to someone, and you let them know that you care about them. And we all need that right now.
Yes, exactly. So what is your story about creating difference makers media?
All right, thanks for asking. We all have a passion behind something that we're doing in life. And typically that passion, believe it or not, stems from a problem that we have worked on solving. Every good story has some problem with a solution, the benefits, and ultimately it's your passion. It becomes the breakthrough, what you offer others. So my story starts out at age 11 when my mother casually tells me that I don't need to have a bat mitzvah, a traditional Jewish ceremony signifying your passage to adulthood. I don't need it because it's not important for girls. It's just more important for boys. I'm sure your female listeners will appreciate this. So those words meant to me that I wasn't as important being a girl. And it set me on a path to becoming an overachiever because I had to prove my worth. I never felt good enough, but I didn't know why. In fact, my parents never could understand it either. So I became an overachiever at school, getting on the honor roll, becoming a news editor and feature editor, and winning a first place award in a trophy in a speech contest, to becoming an exceller in my work. I was the director of client sales at a commercial music company, and I wrote commercial lyrics and trade shows for Fortune 500 companies. And ultimately, after almost 7 years, I went and started my own freelance writing company. But in the back of my mind, even though I was helping my clients get more money and awareness and support, still wasn't feeling good enough. They call that a thought virus for people who are in the spiritual realm. So I decided I was going to have my own bat mitzvah because I wanted to claim my value. So I did that, and I think it was age 48. And I was with a number of other women, and I felt really good. And then I started reevaluating my life, just as your program is all about, why am I here? What am I doing? But I wasn't quite sure until I suddenly got a wake-up call 2 years later at age 50, when on December 16th, I'll never forget the date, at 11:30 at night, I got a call from my brother that my mother had suddenly gotten a heart attack, and it didn't look good. And 30 minutes later, a second call came in. I found out she had passed away. So that was devastating to me. I felt like my world had turned upside down because my mother was my main support and my source of constant love. And even though I'm married and have 2 wonderful sons, my mom was my foundation. So I went on a search. I had to find meaning. And at first I was so devastated, I didn't even know if I wanted to keep living. I was that down, and I had to find help. So this search ultimately led me to positive things. I found an energy healer because my back at this time had gone out. I had 3 slip discs. I learned the hard way that your inner self affects your outer. So my mindset that was so down, that didn't want to keep living, was telling my body that I couldn't go on. With the energy healer, he asked me a very important question. I don't know if I had mentioned this to you before, Lana, but he said, do you want to live? And it really took me aback, and I had a pause. And then he said, well, how would your mother want you to live? And that was like the powerful question that made me think, my mom would not want me to just be dead to the world, even though I'd be alive in body. So I said, well, she would want me to live. And I made that decision. I remember in his office, yes, I want to live. And my purpose came back, like re-energizing my spirit. I was taking a negative and turning it into a positive because I knew I would want to live at my highest potential because my mother would want that for me. And after that time, I was given a couple other tests, and it was like the spirit was saying, okay, let's see you stand up for yourself. And this also propelled me to recognize that we all need support, to recognize that we all make a difference. Just a few years later, after going through that situation, and I had just finished creating a nationally award-winning patient safety video, things you should know before entering the hospital, I myself had a medical error, believe it or not, at a hospital. And one of the lessons I had learned when I created this video is if you're in extreme pain, you don't think clearly, you need an advocate at your side.
Yes.
My husband was my advocate, but he was so traumatized, he wasn't thinking clearly. And the hospital thought I had just gastroenteritis from abdominal pain, but they were not correct, and they didn't check. I had a ruptured appendix. So, yes, believe it or not, I was telling them I was going to the airport the next day, and they said, take these little white pills, and if you don't feel better, come back in the morning. And my mind just heard, take these little white pills. So I planned to go on an airplane in extreme pain. I got to the gate, and I know my mother's spirit was there watching over me, and the flight was canceled 3 times at the gate. And by that 3rd time, and I was doubled over, I knew I couldn't go any further. I lowered myself to the floor and called out to my husband, I can't make it. And a paramedic was called. I was rushed by ambulance to the nearest hospital, and I was told I had a ruptured appendix and I needed emergency surgery. And it was really incredible. I felt like I was almost facing my death because I was told if I had gone on that plane, I wouldn't have made it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I had a second chance for life. And in the hospital, I had a week period of recuperation. And my mother came to me actually in 2 dreams. And in one of them, she sang this beautiful song with the words, "This is the day that God hath made." I didn't know that's from the Bible, but this is the day meant to me that we all need to seize the day. I'm sure you've all heard that saying, to make the most of every day, because you've heard the word present. Well, present really means a gift to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we are here today as a present to make the most of it. And even though you mentioned, Lana, when I was a kid, I had faced bullies. This was like the biggest test for me, having gone through a trauma and coming out of it with a breakthrough. So because of that, I decided I'm going to live fully. I since have helped many clients, both nonprofit organizations, get 6-figure donations, double their memberships, help entrepreneurs get many, many followers that increase their revenue, and I even went on a healthcare mission 3 times with my husband and collected items for the trip that I didn't even think I could do, but I decided I was going to just try, take a step forward. Our family went on this healthcare mission to Ecuador. I was asked to gather 1,000 Beanie Baby toys to give to the children as a gift because they were having their first ever dental examination by my husband. I said, okay, I'll try. Before I knew it, 300 Beanie Babies came in at my door because I just spread the word, and before long it grew to 1,800 Beanie Babies. So I'm telling you this story not to brag about myself, but to help you recognize that you all have greatness within you. You all can make a difference, and you are. Just give yourself a chance. Take the negative and turn it around and think, what's the lesson I'm learning? What can I do with this lesson to help others? And so that's where my passion stems from, giving to others, because I've learned, through my many challenges, that I can make a difference and you can make a difference. And I'm here to shine a light on you, because our world, as Lana said, we need more love. We need more positivity. Yeah. We need to realize that every word and every thought and every action we make, it has a vibrational element and it makes a difference. So let's tune into that love.
Yes, yes, excellent. Wow, yes,
That's the big picture.
Yeah, to think about that close to getting on an airplane. Oh, that just, oh my goodness, yeah.
And the thing is, when you tell your story, I want to share with you all, there's 4 main bullet points. We'll probably ask you, but I wanted just to let you know that when you are telling a story, if you are aware of these 4 bullet points, you too can craft your story really well to capture audiences. So you ready for those points?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I'll illustrate, just giving you a quick reference to what I just did today. So the first thing you want to do, and this is not a fairy tale story. This is just your story that you can connect to your business. The first thing is you want to have a call. The call is the trigger that gets you started on your journey. So my call, if you notice from the story, was actually the beginning in my life. You trace back to the earliest part of your life that started you on your journey. So what started me on my journey to discovering my worth? It was my mother's casual comment that girls didn't need to have a bat mitzvah. It was just more important for boys. Yeah. So that started me forward, the call. The second part of every good journey is the pit. I used to go to all types of, and I still love this, going to self-improvement seminars. And I heard Jay Abraham was considered the founder of marketing. He said, think of your story in a shape like this, kind of like a hook, where it starts at the top, where you can start out with your credibility. I'm an award-winning author, a writer, speaker. I've helped many clients achieve significant donations, but it wasn't always that way. And you start out with your call and you go down to the pit. What's the worst thing you felt that happened to you that changed you? For me, my pit was having my mother suddenly die, just out of the blue. There was no warning. it was just like, you know, I felt like at that time that I was really actually falling pit. I remember over the phone just like wailing, and I felt like I was going under the ground, and I literally felt like my heart was being pulled out of my chest.
Mm.
And I think because when we feel deep love for people, we have that spiritual connection.
Yeah.
So after the pit, we have to rise up if we choose to, if we don't want to live at that low point. And then we start the third point, the search. And the search is to find meaning in our lives. And I went through a lot of different challenges on my way to find meaning. And as you heard, I got healed. I had some tests along the way. And the breakthrough is the final point. Number 4 is what makes you realize that you've learned the lesson and you're ready to give the results to others. And that breakthrough for me at the end was hearing my mother in this dream. It was like her verification. I still get little signs of her. She used to tell me that whenever she would see a penny on the ground, she would look up at the heaven and say, "Thank you, Mom." There's a song, Pennies from Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, after she passed away, I used to find coins. And whenever I do find a coin on the ground, I feel like it's a sign from her that, you know, I'm with you. So anyway, we all go through different points in our lives.
Mm.
And as I said at the beginning, we get to choose how we interpret those items in our life
Yes.
to make the outcome.
Beautifully said. I love what you said about the call and the pit and that progression. Really, as a novelist, it works in novels too. It just works. It's that classic construction that really catches people because we relate, you know, on those different planes. Beautifully. Right. Yes, beautifully said.
Thank you.
So I want to take just a moment to make a couple of announcements as we're progressing through. We do this every time. My new book, Never Date a Narcissist Again, is on Amazon Kindle. So if you have a problem attracting narcissists, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be boss, it could be a neighbor, friends. I've had coaches that were narcissists. I was bullied by my own coach. That was, you know, that's really getting extreme. It happens though. We put out a certain energy and we get that back. And so if you have that going on in your life, this is a way to jump off that train. It's very simple. It's only 25 pages and it's got a lot of bullet points, and it'll help you to break the cycle and get your life back on track for yourself. We have a Facebook group called Now It's My Turn over there on Facebook. Go to nowitsmyturn.com. It'll take you right to the group, and we'd love to have you over there. We're over there every day, all through the week. So you don't just have to wait until Friday to interact with us. And then my daughter and I are starting a healing group, a healing circle called the Collective Healing Channel. And that is going to meet once a month, small group, maximum 12 people. If you're interested in joining us, we are better together than we are alone. We're going to join our energies, go into healing meditation. Just go to lanamcara.com, and at the top you'll see a tab that says Collective. Click that tab and go right into and see, you'll see the details about how that will work. I'm so excited because I feel like lives are going to be changed, and this was a download as well to do this. So, well, let's get started. I think you told me that you have self-published some books, and I would love for you to tell a little bit about how that works, how that process works.
Well, thank you. Well, I think, as I said earlier, any journey begins with how you think about yourself. So my first self-published book is a children's story. I can show it to you if you'd like to see it on the screen. It's called Dancing with Tex, T-E-X, The Remarkable Friendship to Save the Whooping Creams. See, the lighting isn't so great here. Dancingwithtextex.com is the website, and you can get a free audiobook. This was a book that had been in my heart for 20 years, believe it or not, and had almost gotten published by a traditional publisher, but that publisher ran out of funding. So I put it aside, and after my mother had passed away, I was evaluating what I wanted to get done in my life, and this book came up in my mind. And I learned that if you have a dream, you can make it happen. You don't have to let others' no's stop you. So I created a crowdfunding site with the help of many people, and I even created a video about the story. And the site was able to raise several $1,000s to cover the cost of an illustrator and getting the book formatted and ready for production. And once I put it out, I was able to make it a bestseller book. I also got an award from the Illinois Conservation Foundation as their Conservation Author of the Year. And this book is continuing to raise awareness about an unusual event that I learned about on a video shoot in 1990. It was a friendship between a man and a rare bird, and they ended up dancing together because the bird's brain was imprinted on a zookeeper. That means she thought she was, believe it or not, a person because she was raised with a man initially, just like our brains are imprinted by those that we're around. So this man who later met her, Dr. George Archibald, decided he would love to have her come to his sanctuary, the International Crane Foundation, and see if he could help her lay a fertile egg by doing this mating dance with her. And with the help of scientists who gave her, as we call it, special shots, it took 6 years, but this bird eventually was able to lay a fertile egg, which helped save a whole species from extinction. So dancing with Tex is the idea that was behind the story of George dancing with the bird named Tex, because she lived in Texas and initially, and how their relationship made a difference in the world. So that was the first book, and it took 20 years because I actually wasn't sure if I believed in myself being able to do it. And it was until I finally realized, you know, you've got to just go forward with your dreams that I made it happen.
Yes.
And the second book was someone else's story. Now, maybe you know someone who has a story in their heart, but either doesn't know how to get it published, or, you know, they've gotten rejections and they just think I might as well just give up on that dream. So one of my dearest friends in the world was Roland Takaoka, who met me after one of my video interviews online and offered to help me out as my wingman, the person monitoring the comment stream, and help me with my website. And he had been paralyzed on his entire right side from his third stroke. But most people never knew it because he was always smiling and always happy. So he wrote a book and he shared it with me, but he never mentioned that he wanted it published. So we never went further with it. However, August 23rd, I didn't forget this day either, 2018, which happened to be my son's birthday, my very dear friend passed away from a fourth stroke. And I was just shocked. I heard about the fourth stroke just 2 days prior. And we did an online Get Well Roland program. Just as you're creating positive energy, I thought, let's all send positive energy to heal Roland. But unfortunately, you know, he was too far along and he didn't make it. So I decided I would publish his story. And I went forward and did another crowdfunding site and was able to get his book published. And I think I may not have it right at I don't have it in front of me here, but it's under rolandtakaoka.com, and I could send the link to you later. Roland's story is a wonderful memoir of hope, healing, and transformation. It's called Roland's Story, Inspired by a Stroke. I wrote the preface to it because I wanted people to realize that he's not here in physical form anymore, but he actually sent me a sign on the day he passed away, Lana, which I was just amazed by. Remember, that was also a pretty big shock for me to find out that my good friend just died suddenly. And I was sitting on a sidewalk stoop at my good friend's home, crying, speaking to my husband on my cell phone, my right hand, and out of the corner of my eye, I see something black on my left wrist. I look down, it's a butterfly. And it was just sitting on my wrist for about a minute or two. And people say, who are knowledgeable about spiritual things, that a butterfly symbolizes the spirit world. So I mentioned that in the preface to Roland's story. And I also interviewed Roland's widow, Barbara, for an epilogue. So Roland's story is out there in the world, and it's making a difference in people's lives to recognize that no matter what happens to them, they can choose to live with joy as he did, make the most of his life. I'm thinking of actually putting together an anthology for women of their empowering stories. So you're welcome to ask me about it, because I already know all the aspects, start to finish, of getting your story out into the world. And I think if people want to get a little help it's always good to have a team around you, and I'm happy to help you do that, because too many times we get immersed in our own negative thoughts, that not good enough feeling. We all have them, and sometimes playing in the back of our minds, and we need to learn to say stop to that voice, that we are good enough and we can make a difference, and we do.
Yes.
It's just a matter of our thoughts.
Yes, yes. Well, we're running out of time, so how do we get more? How do we get more from you?
So I have created a couple different new packages for you at holiday special prices. One is a story interview package, and you'll be able to see the link shortener on this page. It's bit.ly/story interview. And you can not only get a strategy session with me, but I'm going to help you in pre-interview tips, as well as record your 30-minute story online, get a custom thumbnail image, and promote you to the masses on social media and on a channel that gets actually over 3 million views a month. It's called Wonderful Living TV. So it's a special price. You'll find it on that page. I also have created a 3-week, 3-module course on how to create your story well. It's a story mastery program. And beyond that, if you want to just have a chance to consult with me, you can go to differencemakersmedia.com and click on that link. On that page, you'll see a free story strategy guide, so you can get a free gift, as well as have a chance to have a complimentary session with me just to get a story strategy overview. I would love to help you. As you can tell, my passion is helping you make a difference. So let's go forward and do it together.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you for spending time with us today. This has been amazing.
Thank you, Lana. It was great being with you and your friends.
Thank you. And thank you so much for being with us today. Don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel out a lot. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.